Good afternoon. We'll have to start this meeting for November 5th, 2014, City of Oceanside, Harbor District, CDC. Roll call, please, Holly.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Councilmember Kern.
Here.
Councilmember Feline.
Here.
Councilmember Feller.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sanchez.
Thank you. With that, City Attorney, please.
Thank you. Council meeting in closed session to discuss item 1, conference with the labor negotiator involving the Oceanside Police Officers Association. Item 2A, conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation in the matter of one case. And this specifically relates to an October 9, 2014 letter from the Bridge Law Corporation. And item 2B, conference with legal counsel on existing litigation in the matter of Mary Bogey versus City of Oceanside.
Maybe item number 12.
Excuse me. Good afternoon. We'll go ahead and open this council meeting for November 5th, 2014, Oceanside City Council, Harbor District, and CDC. And with that, roll call, please.
Mayor Wood,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sanchez,
Here.
Councilmember Kern. Here. Councilmember Salim.
Here.
Councilmember Feller.
Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll go ahead, Mr. Clerk, and start off the consent calendar, please.
Yes, consent calendar items 3 through 11. And prior to us taking that vote, I want to inform you and the public that items number 26 and 27 have been removed from the agenda.
26 and 27 removed. Thank you very much. If you're here for those two items, it'll be a waste of your time.
Move approval for consent items.
Thank you.
No public.
No public? Anybody here in the council seat? I see no lights. Please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you very much. With that, could we go item number 12, please?
Yes, item number 12 is approval of plans and specifications for the CCTV sewer inspection program and authorization for the city engineer to call for bids.
Thank you very much. With that, Jason, appreciate it. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and council members, closed circuit televising, or CCTV, provides several benefits to the sewer department. These benefits include pipeline inspections to locate and detect issues or problems within the system. It provides the department with early failure detection, which results in potential spill prevention. It provides a condition assessment of the existing pipes to determine the remaining useful life and assist in the development and target area repairs and the proposed capital improvement, such as cured-in-place pipeline. And finally, it also is anticipated that in the future, the department will be required to complete a system-wide survey about every 7 years. The existing sewer system consists of approximately 450 miles of pipe ranging from 6-inch to 42 inches. The general breakdown of the sizes are listed here. Approximately 58% of 263 miles of these pipes are manufactured out of vitrified clay pipe, or VCP. Prior to the development of PVC, or plastic, vitrified clay was the primary type of materials used in gravity sewer construction. Although VCP is durable and has proven to be appropriate pipe material for gravity sewers, it is susceptible to root intrusion. Roots are the #1 cause of backups and sewer spills in our system. This here slide shows the entire 450 miles of sewer pipes within our system as it exists today. You can generally assume that almost every street contains a city sewer. Our program is targeting strictly the VCP, vitrified clay pipe, within the system shown here on this slide. This here indicates what we have currently televised in red versus the system of 263 miles in green. We have, in the last 3.5 years, from approximately late of 2010 to early 2014, completed what you see in red here. With our current staff and equipment within the department, we are capable of televising approximately 20 miles of pipeline each year. This includes about 15 miles of scheduled and planned televising and condition assessment and approximately 5 miles of repeat or investigational televising. This project consists of cleaning and removing debris, televising the pipe with advanced high-definition cameras for fast and accurate televising. It also includes a pipe condition assessment in accordance with the National Association of Sewer System Companies, or NASCO, standards. It also integrates this information into our GIS system, which quite frankly is the most important and time-consuming part of this project. The engineer's estimate is $1.75 million. Our adopted budget is $2 million. Staff is recommending council approve plans and specs and authorize the city engineer to call for bids. That concludes my presentation. I'll be at sidebar for questions.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Anything for the public?
No public.
Back to the council, and we'll go through Deputy Mayor Sanchez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any questions. I understand this was, I wasn't able to make the Utilities Commission meeting because my great-nephew was having a birthday, 2-year-old birthday party. So, but I understand that this item was definitely discussed during the Utilities Commission committee meeting, and I'm going to go ahead and move approval of the plan specifications for the CCTV sewer inspection program and move authorization for the city engineer to call for bids.
I'll second that. Thank you. Councilmember Kern, please.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick questions. You say the system-wide survey every 7 years, so you just pick a year and go through the whole system, or is it you're going to do this pipe and then you have it scheduled for 7 years from now to go back and do it again?
The anticipation is that we would develop a rolling 7-year program, so that way within every 7 years that we would have videotaped or televised the entire system. So this is the kind of the springboard into that program that we need to move forward with.
Okay, and the other question was, on this 20 miles a year, but you have 450 miles of pipe, that's 22 and a half years. So I'm trying to figure out how those numbers add up.
And well, that's the main reason why we're here with this program, because our current staff is not capable of covering the entire system, with the equipment we have.
So I'm just trying to get. So what does the 20 miles a year do for you then?
So 20 miles, 15 of the 20 is very similar to this program where we televise it and assess it and put it into our GIS system so we can evaluate it and determine what kind of repairs are necessary. The other 5 of the 20 is strictly investigations where we have to go out and look if we have some issues, we have some blockages, and we go out and look and run a camera into the sewer main and determine what the issues are. So, and in essence, we get about 15 miles of the pipe with our current crews is what we're capable of televising on a yearly basis.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out that 450 and 20. Maybe I'm not getting this right, but 450 divided by 20 is 22 and a half.
That's correct. Yeah, so if you take this program that we have, 263 miles, is like I said, a springboard into the program so we can get ahead of the game. And, we will have to either add crews on or we will have another program in 7 years that we would have to do this again. The goal would be to do it in-house with our crews, but at this point, the 15 miles per year won't get that done.
Yeah, okay. All right, I just wanted to do that. I'm still a little not clear on how those numbers add up, but I'm sure that it'll all hit.
Thank you. Mr. Jepson?
Jason, just to kind of tag on to council member's question, we do have a fairly long life expectancy on these pipes, and I would expect that we get around to them more than once every 22 years, but this will kind of rate them all for us, and we'll go back on a priority basis as needed. But they have a pretty long life, do they not?
Yes, most of the pipes are in the 50 to 80 year range, depending on the type of pipe. This specific program is targeting the clay pipe, the VCP or vitrified clay pipe, and that is a majority of the system, almost 60%. And those pipes seem to have the most issues and concerns with our current root intrusion and blockages. So that's why we want to target those pipelines and develop our capital improvement program to rehabilitate with our cured in place pipelining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
One moment, please, if you would, please. The only thing I could pull forward would be your item, but I think you wanted it after. I know you wanted it after 5. Okay, with that, we'll go to the
Council reports?
council reports, please.
Yes, start with Mayor Wood.
Thank you very much. I don't have any per se. We've been busy. It's election time. Silly season, as we say. It's over. Thanks for everybody who turned out to vote, and we appreciate you having that ability to vote for your representatives. That's all I have. Thank you for doing that. Have a good week. That's all.
Deputy Mayor Sanchez.
Thank you. I attended the Harbor and Beaches Advisory Committee special meeting that was held last week, and there were a couple of things that were voted on. First of all, they did vote in a new chair, and the new chair is Jim Jenkins, so congratulations, Mr. Chair Jenkins. I'm sure, I believe Mr. Jenkins has been the chair before the Harvard Beaches Advisory Committee. I'm sure he'll do a great job. And a couple of things that happened. They did made recommendations to approve the request from the police department and regarding the necessary equipment for public safety vessel, which had not previously been included in the budget. And the cost of that will be discussed, continue to be discussed. But further, they did recommend that the utilities department assume the financial responsibility for the remaining, I believe, 2 pumping stations, which would basically almost cover the costs of this unanticipated item that was not included in the original budget. So those are the 2 things that they discussed, as well as they got a presentation on our shoreline preservation. And the one thing that's happening tonight, 7 p.m., after 33 years of serving our coastal community, the Ralphs on Oceanside Boulevard near I-5 will be closing its doors. Today, last day, a few remaining things on the shelves, 50%. This has been truly hard, I think, for all of us that live near the coast to have the last remaining full-service grocery store 24 hours a day, open 24 hours a day, to close its doors. I understand, and I tried, I talked to several people at corporate about the situation. They wanted to remodel. Their lease was up next year, so they felt this was a lower performing of the one of the lower performing stores. I don't get it because it was always busy. I have to say I'm going to miss the great employees at Ralph's, including and especially the manager, Mary Ann, with an iconic voice, would go on the intercom and welcome people from all over, especially during the summer, from all over the world. She had people come. She knew people that would come every summer, even in the winter, and she was just always so welcoming. It always felt like a real community feeling. Mary Ann will be, who is an Oceanside resident, by the way, will advise me, as well as corporate advise me, that all the employees are going to be keeping their jobs. They're able to be transferred to different stores. And Mary Ann herself is going to be transferring to the other store on Oceanside Boulevard, Ralph's store, in the Rancho del Oro area. This happened within a 4-week period, very short. They got the message and they had to close it that fast. The 8th was going to be the last day, and things cleared up so quickly that they had to move the date till tonight. One thing that this pointed out to me, and of course I understand we're not discussing this, is that this really caught me flat-footed. The notion that we could lose a valuable business like this, just like that, and not really have a good relationship with the decision makers, and this is corporate somewhere in the Midwest, Kroger, that we really need to look at having a business retention program, that we not lose these kind of valuable jobs. You know, I understand the brokers is working hard to get replacement. In fact, going in today, I understand Wells Fargo is maybe even expanding its space to make it a bigger bank. So they are looking at, you know, using up some of that. But I think that for the businesses that we do have, valuable businesses that where we count on having these kind of jobs and grocery stores, you know, it's important to keep them. It's important to get more, but it's also important to keep the ones that we do have. So just a really big thank you to Mary Ann and the whole crew for their years of serving all of our community here in Oceanside, including all of our visitors. So, and the last thing I'd like to say is I do want to say congratulations. I know it's early, we don't have the final results, but I want to congratulate Chuck Lowry for having basically won the city council race. I want to thank Councilmember Feline for his service, and I know we'll be having this kind of ceremony and swearing in December, so we'll have more time to discuss it then. I think the first or second week in December. So that's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Feline.
Thank you. I guess my report will also focus on what's the most important event, which was the election, and it's obviously wonderful and great that in our country the voters get to go on a regular basis and express their views and issue their verdicts of satisfied or not satisfied on the direction of their government. And I too would like to congratulate Chuck Lowry on his win. I wish him the best of luck as city councilman. I do have to say it's really kind of stunning to be the only Republican in America who got bad news on election night, but that is the will of the voters, and let the chips fall where they may. I think also I will take inspiration from Chuck Lowry in that there's always redemption for defeated politicians, so I may mark my calendar for 4 years from now, and we'll see what happens. But for now, the people have spoken, and it's been an honor to serve on the City Council, and I wish Chuck all the best in his new responsibilities. Thank you.
Councilmember Feller.
Thank you. I just had a couple of things. One was the mixer that Visit Oceanside had down at Bagby Beer. I don't think anybody overindulged in that, but there were a lot of, I guess, tasty beers. I've never had any of them, so in fact, I haven't had most of what young people drink in these days, but it was sure a popular mixer. I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while, and it was great. The most important thing that has happened yesterday, and that was our wedding anniversary of 42 years. We got to go down to Dominic's for dinner, and Bunny got out of the house for a couple of hours, and she deserves every credit for dealing with me for 42 years. God has blessed us with a great family, and we will continue to do our best here for the city of Oceanside. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Councilmember Kern.
Thank you. Couple things. First of all, mark your calendar for Saturday the 15th of November is the library book sale. It's right across the way at the code enforcement office on the back side of the library. They sell books once a quarter. They raise about $100,000 a year to give to the library. Through book sales, through their farmers market sales, through their store sales. So hope to come support them so they can support our library. Also on December 14th, which is a Saturday, is the Holiday Home Tour. So you can buy those tickets at the library or through the Friends of the Oceanside Public Library, or just contact my office and I'll connect you with the president of the Friends of the Oceanside Public Library. I know her personally. And then on November 1st, I kind of represented the city of Oceanside at the memorial service for Bud Lewis, the mayor, longtime mayor of Carlsbad, longtime council member. I think he was on the council for something like 40 years. So it was a nice service over in Carlsbad. So with that, the other thing that kind of attended was Mark Weiland, our state senator, had his last open house before he is termed out. So I went down to that and talked to Mark and listened to what he had to say about government. So, and then the other thing is in connection with my representation on the community engagement panel for the decommissioning of San Onofre. I had a kind of a semi-private meeting with just some of the engagement panel and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission before their public hearing to talk about how San Onofre is going to be decommissioned and a little bit about the CASP and security. And the only thing I'd like to say is any community group would like to know what's happening with San Onofre, just contact my office, because part of our job as the community engagement panel is to go out and engage the community. So if there's a group out there that would like to find out what's happening in San Onofre, contact my office and I'll be glad to come out and talk to the group and bring you up to speed about what's happening at San Onofre and how the timelines for decommissioning and when the big towers come down and everything else. So with that, that is it.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, will you do one item, please, 18, to the city attorney?
Thank you. The City Council met in closed session to discuss item 1 on the agenda, conference with labor negotiator involving the Oceanside Police Officers Association. The council did meet. There's no reportable action on that item. Item 2A, the council met to discuss significant exposure to litigation in the matter of one case arising from a letter dated October 9th from Corey Briggs. The council directed the city attorney to communicate with Mr. Briggs that the city will not rescind the approvals on item 27 from September 10th meeting. A copy of our letter will be placed on file at the city clerk's office. Item 2B, conference with legal counsel on existing litigation. Mary Boggy versus City of Oceanside. The council did meet and give direction, but there's no reportable action on item 2B.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a little slow meeting today. We're going to have to start up again at 5 o'clock. So we're going to take a recess until 5 o'clock and do the second half of the council meeting. Unusual, but right after the election, we kind of condensed this meeting. Everybody in the audience that has something to be signed for school, wherever, come on up to me when we take the break, okay? Thank you. Until 5 o'clock. Adjourned. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I had a short calendar this morning for the first part of the council meeting because it shortened after the election, trying to get things out of the way. A couple of housekeeping things, if we may. If you got a phone, cell phone, whatever, put it on vibrate or silent. We'd appreciate it, number one. Number two, I'll have my aide explain what's coming on, and after the pledge and invocation, you can all have a seat, and we'll continue. We'll have some presentation as we move forward. But anyhow, Debbie, please.
Please stand for the invocation. Tonight's invocation will be delivered by City Clerk Zach Beck, who is also the youth pastor for Gateway Community Church.
Let us bow our heads. Father, we come before you to simply say thank you. Thank you for this privilege, this blessing, this honor it is to live in the city of Oceanside. We seek your guidance, your wisdom, and your discernment during the deliberations this evening. And we come together as a unique and diverse community, a community of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presents and different futures, but one common goal, and that is the betterment of this community. We lift up all of our council members right now, Councilmember Feller, Councilmember Feline, Councilmember Kern, Councilmember Sanchez, and Mayor Wood. We lift them up and their families up during this time. We lift up all of the families throughout our entire city and throughout our entire county and our entire country and our entire world. And we bring all these things to you because we know you're listening. We bring all these things to you in your precious name. Amen.
Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians youth members Max and Trent Moran.
Looking good, looking good.
Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hold on. Please be seated. Thank you. You see in the middle.
Would Elkie Rose from San Diego Humane Society please come forward?
Ooh.
Okay.
My goodness. This is something the council should adopt. A rat.
So this is popcorn. I bought popcorn today because our small animals don't get a lot of love at these meetings, and we have 7 rats available for adoption right now at the San Diego Humane Society, many of them being her offspring. So she was brought to us by a humane law officer because the dogs and the small animals in the individual's care were not being taken care of properly, so she was thin and living in not great conditions, and even, believe it or not, being a rat, they do like their home clean, and they like toys, and they like to be fed. And so she came in and then gave birth to 12 babies, and some of them have been adopted, but I just wanted to showcase how great rats can be. They're only $5 for an adoption fee, and especially when socialized early, they really love people. They love to be around other rats if introduced properly, and you can carry them around like this. We take rats in our pet assisted therapy program, so we take them to hospitals and assisted living homes, and it's just a great way to introduce people to different animals, especially if you live in a apartment, you maybe can't have a dog, or not that you can't have a dog in an apartment, believe me, you can. But if you're worried about the size, a rat is a great pet to have. We do like them to be in big cages. They like to play around, and they like toys. They eat fruit and veggies. They do only live about 2 to 3 years, but great way to introduce your kids to having a pet and taking care of a pet. And I just heard that BuzzFeed printed posted 25 reasons rats make great pets. So check them out on BuzzFeed. And again, this is Popcorn, and she is the mama, and there are lots of babies at the Humane Society. Also wanted to let you know that Veterans Day, from the 7th to the 11th, we're doing $11 adult adoption fees for our adult cats and our adult dogs and adult bunnies, because bunnies are normally $25. Also, we wanted to let everyone know we just merged with Project Wildlife. They were in need to kind of have a larger organization kind of take their projects on, so you'll be hearing more about how we can help wildlife in our community. And also wanted to remind you of our wonderful spay and neuter program. Don't forget, we have affordable spay and neuter. You can go onto our website at sdhumane.org and sign up right there. I think we're at Oceanside 3 days a week, and so great opportunity for you to get your animals spayed and neutered.
Frenchie, here you go. I'm a friend for life. It just fits you, Frenchie. What can I tell you? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, I just picked up a cat from the Humane Society. I have 2 dogs, and I got a cat. It was fantastic. It fits right into my house with my 2 dogs, and it really means a lot. Go down to the Humane Society. They have the dog section. They have the cats, different creatures, bunnies. Go down there and pick up something that's pretty nice. It'll help all the animals down there. Number 1, a good friend of mine does have a pet rat. It follows him throughout the house, runs up his leg, gets on the countertop, and gets fed. They are good pets, believe it or not, but like I say, it's interesting in a little pouch, and I thank you for always bringing something different here, and I appreciate it. Let's hear it for her. Thank you.
Next, we have a proclamation for National American Indian Heritage Month, with the following individuals from the San Luis Rey Band of National Indians. Please come forward when I call your name. Noel Vernon, Captain. Clara Scott, Tribal Elder. Joyce Vernon, Tribal Elder. Roberta Estrada, Tribal Member. Ben and Sally Garcia, Tribal Members. Diana Cabell, Tribal Member. Philip and Marlene Fosselman, Tribal Members. Robert, Rachel, and Amber Fosselman, Tribal Youth Members. Max Moran, Tribal Member. And Max and Trent Moran, Tribal Youth Members.
Looking good. Is there anybody else? Anybody else? Go ahead.
Proclamation in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, November 2014. Whereas the history and culture of our great nation have been significantly influenced by American Indians and indigenous peoples, and whereas the contributions of American Indians have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and greatness of America today, and whereas the customs and traditions of American Indians are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, and whereas during this month we celebrate our commitment to respect and preserve the rich Native American traditions, And whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976 and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas, in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, community celebrations as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities have been planned. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Head, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim November 2014 as National American Indian Heritage Month and urge all citizens to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Issued this 5th day of November 2014.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor and City Council members and all the public here from Oceanside. It's an honor to do this once a year and acknowledge the Native people from this land and just remember our ancestors that have been here and for thousands and thousands of years. And so it's something that we can do and step up, and it's good to see our youth participating, and it's going to keep our cycle of going on and generations. And we'd like to present Mary Wood with my sister. She's did a basket, so let her take the microphone.
Yeah, it's a custom of the people that if we receive something, it's good to give back. And it can be in different things, from food to an object or something that you made. So, Mayor Woods, I'd like to present to you a basket that I made today.
Hopefully it's food.
No food, okay. And then yes, you can. And it's something simple. I am a weaver, and so this is one of the baskets that I do teach. It's not our style of basket. It's a Cherokee style basket, but it's a simple basket that it can be done, and I teach youth this, and I decorate it with the abalone, which is important to us, and it's one of our things, an abalone shell, and the white sage, that's one of our sacred things. And also, I gave him in here, I studied the Lusania language, and I wrote a song poem, and so I have it presented to him, so. There you go. And it's in English, too. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody want to say a few words? I see that hand. I do.
I thank you, Mayor. Okay. Thank you very much for inviting us. And as I say, I'm one of the old timers here. 1921, I was born right here in Oceanside, and I'm still here. and what's that name, which has got a few, some of the things here on the street name, and the school, and a park, and I enjoy Oceanside very much.
Thank you. Well, yes, there's a lot of us that are born here, and I'd like to invite you all to our powwow coming in June 12th and 13th to the 15th, 2015. It's going to be our 19th, I think. All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, heritage here at Oceanside, the Lusania Indians, outstanding, good neighbors, part of this community. The Indians out here certainly have given a lot back to this community. I'm very proud of them. That's why we have this. If you haven't been to an Indian powwow, you'd be shocked how wonderful and colorful it is, besides the other things of attractions. Don't forget, it's usually at, and it still will be at the San Luis Rey Mission. Don't forget about that. This is the heritage of Oceanside up here, and that's why we honor them. And thank you very much one last time. Let's give them a round of applause.
one last. 1, 2, 3.
Next, we would like to recognize city utility workers Sean Carloa and Will Holder. Please come forward. Please come forward when I call your name. Sean Carloa, utility worker. Will Holder, utility worker. Larry Bell, Water Utilities Director. Mark Anderson, Water Utilities Division Manager. Jeremy Kemp, Utility Supervisor. And with Luigi Galina, Oceanside resident, please come forward.
That's in the middle.
All right. And I would like to read the certificate. Both of them will receive the certificate of recognition. On behalf of the Oceanside City Council, I, Mayor Jim Wood, wish to recognize your extraordinary efforts in the recovery of a necklace from the city sewer line on August 21st of this year. After receiving a call from customer care regarding the loss of a valuable necklace with a long family history, you went to the residence of Luigi Galina and cleaned the line in front of their home, hoping to retrieve the necklace. Although unsuccessful at that time, you acted on a hunch and returned to the residence 3 weeks later, collected the necklace downstream of the home, then cleaned and hand-delivered it to Ms. Galina. We commend you for going above and beyond your job duties in this instance and are grateful to have such high-caliber employees working for the City of Oceanside.
Amazing, especially when we'll get to you, but show that item off.
I just want to say great job, of course, you guys, and all of our workers that are here today really provide a very valuable service to this community. So these special things are always something that we want to recognize, but also the work that everybody does day in and day out is very important, and we appreciate everything you do. But very nice job. I'm very proud of all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank these men so much. When I made the phone call, I thought I'd never see my necklace again, but I kept praying, and the person that gave me this looked down from heaven. His name was James Olson. He was a Purple Heart recipient, born here and died here. I put his ashes in the ocean right here. And I prayed and I prayed and I never gave up. And when I called these men, Jeremy Kemp answered the phone, and when I just saw him at my door, I just was thanking God. I filmed the whole thing on July 21st, and a month later they came back and they handed me my chain, and I was so grateful. I said, pinch me, this is a dream. I owe them just a lunch. I haven't given lunch yet, but I am so grateful from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you so much to have city workers that are so dedicated to Oceanside, and I'm so grateful. My daughter never stopped praying for me. She graduated San Luis Rey Mission, the Catholic school here in Oceanside, and Angelina, she never gave up hope, and when I saw these guys at my door that day, I just thank God. I'm so grateful for beautiful workers like this in Oceanside. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I say, it's unusual when you bring up city staff that did something so unusual. This made television news. It was a big item, beautiful piece of sentimental and valuable jewelry. So when we get a chance to say thank you to our staff that does wonderful things that went out of their way for this, we're happy to do it here in front of all you to say thank you. Let the daughter take some pictures, and I'm going to pass the mic to the heroes of the day. Say hi.
I'm not much of a speaker, but thank you for the recognition. I'm glad we could find a chain, and just so you know, it's very rare that we ever find it. We got very lucky, but thank you for the recognition, and I'm glad you got your chain back. I'm not much of a speaker either, but Sean said everything I was going to say, but it wasn't just me and Sean, because when we went back in the crew room, we had, told him what had happened, and it was actually one of the guys, Marcos Moreno right there, he suggested, we were talking about the line, and, I've been with the city for, about 8-9 years now, but I'm new to the sewer department, and he has suggested that one of the lines had a sag in it, and when me and Sean got the extra time at the end of the day, we went over there, and then when we jetted the line, that's when we found the necklace, and you should have seen our faces, because we couldn't believe we had found it. But, yeah, it didn't look too good when we found it, but yeah.
They said wash it.
But, yeah, we were happy that we found it for her.
Thank you.
Shout out to my tour guys over there.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you coming along as a support group. I know he's kind of shy, so I appreciate you coming too. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it too. Thank you. Good seeing you all.
Thank you. We're going to do item, 25? Right now. So, anyway, thank you. I'd like to then begin by asking everyone here tonight who is a veteran or is a family of a veteran member, please stand up and be recognized. So KFCP, if you can scan the crowd, you can see how many veterans we have here. It's quite an amazing group. At this time, I'd like all the council to come forward, please. Mayor, city council members, please come forward. We're going to honor our Veteran of the Year. Every year around Veterans Day, just council will be fine. Every year around Veterans Day, we like to recognize our veterans and those who support our veterans. We select one outstanding veteran and one veterans organization which have supported our veterans, their families, and in turn have benefited the entire community. Again this year, I called upon the Veterans Association organizations in North County to assist with that task, and the Veterans Association of North County. VANCE, through its 37 veterans organizations, collectively represent 5,000 veterans in North County. VANCE established the Veterans Resource Center at 1617 Mission Avenue in Oceanside and serves all the veterans and their families. I'd like to ask Ms. Sandra Fichter, Vice President of VANCE and our 2009 Oceanside Veteran of the Year, please join me in presenting the certificates of recognition to our 2014-2015 Oceanside Veteran of the Year and our Oceanside Veteran Nonprofit Organization of the Year. So, Sandra?
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Sandra Stichter. I'm the Vice President with the Veterans Association of North County, better known as VANCE. We're happy to be here tonight to be able to celebrate all the achievements of the organization, but basically because of the person who has made all of this happen, and it's his vision. We're going to speak to that a little more in a minute. But the Veterans Association of North County's mission is to link or bridge the active duty military, their family, and veterans to any resource that they're looking for or they need. We basically make sure that they get through whatever maze it is that they've been going through to accomplish what they need, and we make sure that we follow it until we make that they are serviced with what they need. That will always continue to be our mission, and we are an all-volunteer organization. On Veterans Day, we invite you to come to our facility. That's Tuesday. We're going to have a Veterans Day ceremony at 10 o'clock. It would be a wonderful opportunity for all of you to see what many of you have been watching over the last couple of years, from the old police station to transform into the one-stop resource center that Vance is now. We would love for you to come. You'll be in awe. It's beautiful. And more importantly, we see Chuck's vision become reality, and we're also excited that he let us be a part of it. And we want to thank the entire Oceanside City Council. They've been with us all along the way, have supported it, and because of them, again, Chuck's vision was able to become reality. So we'll move on to the ceremony. It begins Tuesday, 10 o'clock. We would love to have you there with us.
It's always difficult to select just one organization or one person of the year to be recognized as a Veteran of the Year. But one thing, we are very blessed in this community to have so many veterans and so many organizations that support veterans. So at this time, I'd like Jimmy Valentine to come on down. The 2014 Oceanside Veteran Nonprofit Organization is here is Homefront San Diego. Accepting the certificate on behalf of Homefront San Diego is Mr. Jimmy Valentine. I understand that you wear many hats, that you're on the Dehesa Valley Gazette, former executive producer of the Roger Hedcock Show, and the leader of Homefront San Diego. Is there anything else?
I'm not the leader, I'm a volunteer.
Volunteer. We're all volunteers. Yes. So anyway, I'm going to have Sandra present. I'm going to read the proclamation, and then I'll have what? There's no problem. Okay. So whereas Homefront San Diego is named the 2014 Oceanside Veteran Nonprofit Organization Year by Councilmember Jerome Kernan, the Veterans Association of North County, in recognition of their continued dedication, outreach, wide-ranging support, service provided our military veterans and their families. And whereas Homefront San Diego, established shortly after 9/11, diligently works to meet the needs of the families of deployed military members by providing whatever their family might need. And whereas Homefront San Diego practices their mission of providing to military families in their times of need every day by providing emergency food, emergency bill payment, gasoline, auto repairs, furniture, computers, and the like. And whereas these services are grant-based and never have to be repaid and are made possible through donations in an all-volunteer organization, which you are one of those, and comprised of community members, including veterans from all 5 branches of the military. Therefore, the City Council of the City of Oceanside wishes to express its deepest appreciation for Homefront San Diego and their continued and tireless dedication to our military veterans, their families, and the communities of the Oceanside. Congratulates them to be the 2014 Veteran Nonprofit Organization of the Year. Sandra, you want to come up here? We'll then take pictures, and Sandra, you can come and present that. So, Jimmy, before she does that, you want to tell us a little bit about your group?
Well, Homefront San Diego, you described it perfectly well there. We're an all-volunteer force. We've been doing this since the fall of 2001. And we decided that when we started shipping our Marines and our sailors overseas to fight, first of all in Afghanistan and later in Iraq, that it was not just our men and women in uniform who were at war, we were a nation at war, and that we had to have our servicemen and women's back while they were deployed. And so we've been doing it all these many years. And if there's an emergency, we're a good call to make, because we'll fix the car, we will make sure the mortgage gets paid, we'll pay the phone bill, we'll make sure you have a crib, we'll make sure you have a car seat, and most of all, we'll make sure you've got food. And let me say just something about food. It pains me to no end to still have military families calling our hotline asking for food. We as citizens of this nation have to stop that. We have to pay our men and women enough money so that they can make ends meet as they send their men and women off into combat. I'm terribly humbled by this. Thank you on behalf of all of our volunteers.
Hold on. Two things, guys. Hold on. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. Now, our next presentation is for the Oceanside Veteran of the Year. And before I do that, I'd like to bring up some of the past Veterans of the Year. Actually, we have one up here already, Sandra. But John Stryker Meiger. Phil, come on up. Sandra's here. Tom Garcia. Where's Tom Garcia? I saw him earlier. Here's Tom Garcia. James King. Steve Smith. I don't know if he's here. And I know Jackie McCoy, our veteran from last year, is a little under the weather, so she's not going to make it tonight, right?
She made.
Did you make it?
I didn't see her. Jackie?
Yeah, so okay. Well, thank you. And now, for this year's Veteran Year, Chuck Atkinson, please come forward. To me, it's truly an honor to give this to Chuck. Chuck has worked so hard and so tirelessly to get the Veterans Association North County going. You know, the idea of the building up there is just absolutely outstanding. I think he's there like 23 out of 24 hours a day now. In fact, I went to find him the other day, and for people that don't know where he's at, he has another office way in the back, and he closes the door so nobody knows he's there.
They do now.
They do now. So I had to go find him. Chuck is the founder, president of the Oceanside, the Veterans Association of North County, has served in the U.S. Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force. And I'm an Air Force veteran, and he's my idol because he was the chief. You know, I was just a staff sergeant. Stanley's going to present the certificate of recognition, but before that, I'd like to read it, unless you want to read it. Okay. Whereas Charles Chuck Atkinson was named the 2014-2015 Oceanside Veteran of the Year by Councilmember Jerome Kern in recognition of his tireless efforts and dedication, outreach, and wide-ranging support and services provided by our military veterans and their families. Whereas Chuck Atkinson has spent a lifetime serving our country, beginning in 1955 in the U.S. Coast Guard, then in the U.S. Marine Corps, and then ending up in the U.S. Air Force, and attained the rank of Chief Master Sergeant. Whereas Chuck Atkinson, since retired from the military, continued to serve this community as a volunteer, as the commander of the American Legion Post 146, a position he's held for 7 years, where he assisted military veterans and with their problems they face every day, including housing needs and emergency shelter, healthcare issues, crisis management, attaining VA benefits in a timely manner, and job placement opportunities. Whereas with great vision, dedication, and commitment to our nation's veterans and their families, and with the help of many individuals and community organizations, Chuck founded Veterans Association of North County, VANCE, an all-volunteer 501c3 organization consisting of more than 37 different veterans organizations with over 5,000 members. Whereas VANCE, under Chuck Atkinson's leadership, established the Veterans Resource Center in Oceanside, which serves as a one-stop facility working with a network of social service providers, and others to meet the needs of veterans population of over 80,000 people and their families in North San Diego County. Now, therefore, the Oceanside City Council commends Charles Chuck Atkins for his continued and tireless dedication to our military veterans, their families, and the community of Oceanside, and congratulate him on the 2014-2015 Veteran of the Year. We have the screens on here a little tighter. Hold on. So if you look on the screen, you actually see Chief Master Sergeant Chuck Atkinson.
It looks the same.
I know.
We thought you'd like that one, Chuck.
We stuck those in on.
And one of the things I'd like to mention, when we talk about the veterans and everybody else around here, the Veteran Resource Center is actually the old police station. I think Jim Wood actually worked out of that station for years. And so the city of Oceanside, partnering with our nonprofits, actually got them to build it. And so now it's almost done. And I'm going to turn this over to Chuck so he can talk about being Veteran of the Year and talk about his new resource center.
Thank you, Councilman Kern. Thank you very much. Thank all the council members. I want to thank all my volunteers that work with us every day to support the veterans and active duty and their family. Without you guys, I couldn't do it. So, very appreciative for all the volunteers who come in and help us on a daily basis. Our building, we're doing all we can to build it out as fast as we can. We finished the banquet room 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, it's going to knock your socks off when you go in there, believe me. And we started the last phase of the construction on Monday, which is the kitchen. So hopefully by the middle of January, the kitchen will be completed, and we'll have the entire building built out at that time, and we can really turn it around to bring more resources in to help the veterans and active duty people. But I'd like to again thank all the volunteers that have helped. Without you, I couldn't do it. And we do so many things with the resources, like Jimmy's Valentine's Home Front. We've been doing the program for the last 2 years with providing brand new furniture to the active duty Marines and sailors out at the base. Each year in December, about 5 tractor trailer loads of brand new furniture that the manufacturers of California donated, and we set it up at the building, and they come over the next day and pick up furniture that they really badly need. So we've got the program again going this year. Although we can't put it inside the building, we're going to do it in the parking lot. And so December 5th, if you got some muscles and want to come over and help us unload, and then on the 6th, help us give the furniture to the active duty members, please come over and give us a hand. Interfaith Community Services, the Veterans Association of San Diego Division, we brought into the front end of the building that provides a lot of the services that we have, but we go beyond that. We connect with a lot of different resources that the veterans need. And being the building, the banquet room is finished, I ask you to come over, take a look at it. Come down on Veterans Day, the 11th of November at 10 a.m. and see our Veterans Day service. I'm sure you'll love it. And then on the 13th of November, we have a concert, fundraiser for the veterans. So it starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. The tickets are $25 a person, or 2 for $40. It's great entertainment. We have a young brother group that one is 18, one is 14, and they play the best piano you've ever heard in your life. But so come and join us. And again, thank you all. with this award. Thank you.
This, go ahead, do the picture. This Friday, we are going to a luncheon at the Scottish Rite down in San Diego. Not only the Oceanside Veteran of the Year and Organization of the Year, but also nominated to be the county's organization and the county's Veteran of the Year. And we will find out on Friday how they rate on that. 2 years ago, we had the Organization of the Year at the Armed Forces YMCA, was actually the county organization of the year. So they do look at North County. They do actually pay attention to what we're doing up here. So thank you all. Oh, Tom Garcia has something from Assemblymember Rocky Chavez.
Oh, yeah, I don't need this. I guess I do. Anyway, Assemblymember Rocky Chavez, who just got reelected, thank God. He couldn't be here tonight, but he's known Chuck for a long time. He was on the city council and has believed in the vision that you had when you first started this whole thing, so he's been behind you the whole time. He didn't want to be able to give you kind of a certificate of recognition. This kind of just says a little bit about the great things you've done. He appreciates what you've done. I already gave you his challenge coin. That's a challenge for you to keep on doing the great things you're doing. And Chuck is really what they call a servant leader. Everything that he does it for other people, and we really appreciate what he does. Let me just read this real quick. It's real short. I presented to Chuck Atkins in honor of your service to this country and the continued dedication to the City of Oceanside and fellow veterans. Veteran of the Year, City of Oceanside, November 5th, 2014. Colonel Rocky Chavez, Assembly 76th District. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. I really appreciate it. Chuck, congratulations. Oh.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it takes a little extra time, but it's always nice to recognize people that you had done something for or involved with the city. So I appreciate your time and effort, but we'll go on with the council meeting. And with that, I want to bring up first, Mr. Clerk, Kathy Nigel, please, number 19, please.
Yes, Kathy Nigel, may come forward.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Hi, my name is Kathy Nichol. I work at Main Street, Oceanside, and I'm here to talk about a few things that are going on in Oceanside. I talked to Eileen today at Parks and Rec, and she asked me to bring up a couple of events that they have going on. This Thursday at the Senior Center on Country Club Lane, there is a U.S. Midway Museum presentation. It is on the OceansideRec.com website, so it's a great way for you to meet a veteran and for him to talk about the Midway that we are so gracious to have in San Diego and be able to visit. Also, on this weekend, the Heritage Park Festival, November 8th from noon to 4, there will be a chili cook-off, and I'm rooting for my guy from Main Street, Beecher Young. Go Beecher. But that's a great event, and it's a great way to see all of the great things that they've done at Heritage Park, to include the North County Model Railroad Society just moved their railroad museum there, and it is ready and open. A fantastic display. I also want to thank a few people. I wanted to thank everybody, including the community and my volunteers, for a haunted market that was this last Thursday. It was a great event. We had a lot of families there, and I saw several of our council members there, so thank you for your support. Also, this year's Dia de los Muertos at the Mission, another fabulous event at a very great area, the Mission San Luis Rey. And I want to thank Milano for their beautiful flowers that they donate every year. We got 2 truckloads this year. Our altar builders, dancers, volunteers. It was a fabulous event. So thank you again. Of course, I want to bring up our Main Street events. Thursday is Market Day in Oceanside, and we do a day traditional farmers market Thursday morning from 9 to 1. And then, of course, our Sunset Market from 5 to 9 p.m. Both are great events, family-friendly, and we hope to see you down there. We will be closed for Thanksgiving. However, that following Thursday, we have partnered with the City of Oceanside for the holiday tree lighting ceremony, and several things will happen that night. Between 5 and 6 o'clock, we have entertainment by our Star Theater and our choral choir that will be there, and dancers. At 6 p.m., Oceanside's finest, the fire department will bring in, of course, the guest of honor, Santa, to help us light the tree with our honorable mayor that night. And then we have events along Mission Avenue, activities for all ages with a, pardon me, palm tree climb, bungee run, bounce houses, of course, craft tables, and we remind you to please bring your camera so you can take a picture with Santa. We will be having our holiday markets throughout December, and our motto is, why shop at the mall? Come to the market, it has it all. The event that happens also this Friday, which I forgot to bring up, was our art walk. We have it the very first Friday of every month. There are 19 stops within a 3-block area, so we hope that you will join us in our Oceanside Art District for this month's viewing of vibrant art, live performances, music, poetry, hands-on art, and of course our pop-up galleries that are embedded in our local businesses in the downtown. Of course, all of this information is on our website to include the city events and art walk. So we do hope to see you in the downtown and have a great holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathy, Kathy, why is Santa coming?
Well, we all know who comes in December. I hope I'm on the good list.
Is that tree for?
Technically, it's supposed to be a holiday tree lighting, but we all know that Christmas happens in December.
Thank you. I was just trying to see if I could get you to say the word. Thank you.
I knew he was going to do that. All right, thank you very much.
All right, bye. Well, Mr. Clerk, before we go to that, I'm going to jump forward to 21, please. That's some time issues.
Yes, item number 21 is adoption of a resolution approving development permit D14-00014, conditional use permit CUP 14-00023, and regular coastal permit RC 14-0011 for the construction of a temporary desalination pilot facility within the parking lot 10 at the terminus of Harbor Drive South in the Oceanside Small Craft Harbor Precise Plan Area, desalination test well number 2. Applicant, City of Oceanside.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. As mayor, I'll open this public hearing and request disclosures from council members. I'll start with you, Jack.
Yeah, I've had staff, and I think we had email or maybe 2.
Staff. Staff, and I visited the site.
Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Clerk, correspondence or petition?
None.
Thank you very much. With that, who's Amy? Oh, there's she, Amy, hide behind the podium. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, President and Harbor Board of Directors members. The proposal before you consists of 3 applications: a development plan, a conditional use permit, and a coastal development permit. The City of Oceanside started assessing the feasibility of utilizing desalinated water in 2008 by establishing a test well in the Oceanside Marina parking lot area. The results from this initial study have prompted further exploratory drilling to determine the aquifer properties and ground well feasibility. The proposal before you this evening is a continuation of this pilot program, and it's for the construction of a temporary desalination well that will be located at the western terminus of the South Harbor Drive. The location of the facility is identified in the right-hand corner here. It will be located within parking lot 10. The site is located within the town site neighborhood area and also within the Small Craft Harbor Precise Plan. The boundaries of the coastal zone are identified on the exhibit to the right by the yellow line, and as you see, it falls within the coastal zone. It is within the appealable area, and is identified in our land use plan of Harbor Precise Plan, and the zoning designation for the site is Harbor Zone. The temporary test well is considered a coastal-related facility, and it requires the issuance of a conditional use permit. Adjoining land uses include residential just to the east of the site, parking lot number 7 just to the south, and beach facilities and recreational facilities to the west and to the north. The proposed improvements include a vertical water test production, test well 2, to determine, as I mentioned, the aquifer properties from subsurface wells. The construction area that's identified here will be confined to a 137 by 45 foot area, approximately 6,000 square feet. And the staging and the material storage area will be confined within a 2,000 square foot area within the adjacent parking lot number 7. Construction in the testing time frame is expected to be limited to 18 days. With respect to desalination procedures, near-shore subsurface wells in relationship to open ocean intake systems are preferred, and this is the reason why we're looking at this particular system for this location. The specific rationale is that near-shore subsurface systems do not affect aquatic life. The aquifer systems from which the saline water is derived will provide a natural filtration that will eliminate reverse osmosis to a great extent, and will also provide a buffer to surface water turbidity. Staff is recommending adoption of the resolution approving the development plan, conditional use permit, and regular coastal permit. This proposal has been presented to the Planning Commission for their input, and also to the Harbor and Beaches Advisory Committee. We have received no public comments on this, and with that, I will conclude my presentation. We do have a representative from the Water Utilities Department if you have any specific questions with regard to technical aspects of the facility, that will be available to address those.
Thank you, Amy. I would say sidebar, appreciate that. Before I go forward with that in the public, ladies and gentlemen, desal, that's something the City of Oceanside has done for years downstream from our San Luis Rey River. Understanding that water is probably the most valuable resource now in Southern California, if not the entire state, we've done it for years. We're trying to expand and do it with salt water also. Just for your information, that's what we've been doing for years. With that in mind, public, please.
This is a public hearing item, so any members of the public wishing to speak on this specific item may come forward for 3 minutes to address the council.
Mayor, council members, Jim 127 Cherry Lane, also Vice Chairman of the Utilities Commission. As part of our diversification of water supplies, I would say that the Utilities Commission would encourage your support of this agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Carolyn Kramer, Citizens for Preservation of Parks and Beaches, 904 Leonard Avenue, Oceanside. I think it's a great project. I did contact all of you and the city manager, and Steve did get back to me. I was just concerned about what's happened to the beach parking while this temporary facility goes in. And I was told there's only a few lots. There's going to be, I think, 18 spaces that will be closed during this project. 18 or 23, I can't remember. And I was concerned about when this project would take place because we do have a lot of activities and surfing events that use that parking lot. So I was told that it would be scheduled during the off-season and coordinated with our special events so that we would have a whole bunch of inconvenience for visitors and users of the slot. And then my other concern was there's a mention of the permanent facility and where that would be located west of the railroad tracks in the free parking lot. And I just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't be losing any public parking spaces if and when this permanent facility went in. And would the permanent facility be coming back before the council, before it was also approved? I also was contacted by a member of the resident of the Marina Del Mar Condo Association directly across from Lot 10, and they did have some concerns about noise and dust and those environmental issues that are concerned with the project where you're digging up things. So hopefully someone will coordinate with them and let them know what's going on because if they just happen to come across it. So thank you very much.
If you could take notes and respond to these after all the speakers, appreciate it. I know you will. Thank you.
Any other members of the public that wish to speak on this item may come forward at this time.
Mr. Clerk, I see none. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and come back to the council. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you. If staff could first respond to those questions, and then I have my additional questions.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, the number of parking spaces that would be effective for the...
A little more, Mike. Sorry.
It's 25 plus 10, right? 25
plus 10, it's 35. Some of them will be for staging and 25 are on parking lot 10. Not all of them will be unavailable during the 18 days. Once the staging is done, the 10 parking spaces will become available. So at some point, it will be limited to the 25. With regard to the timing, I think that Jason can speak to that. The question with regard to the permanent facility location, this is still in an exploratory phase. A determination has not been made that a permanent facility will be constructed. It will depend on the outcome of the studies that are being done. And if the location of the site happens to be within the harbor area other than the marina parking lot, it would require a zoning text amendment to allow for that facility within the harbor parking lot. Within the harbor precise plan area. The marina parking lot could allow for the desal facility to be located as it stands right now, but any other areas within the harbor precise plan would require an amendment. So it would require an entitlement processing, a precise plan amendment and development plan as well as a coastal permit before it gets approved. If it gets processed through the noise and dust issues that were raised, the project will be required to comply with our noise ordinance and air quality requirements with regard to any sort of construction dust emissions.
I think there were also some questions about coordinating with the residents to advise them about it, and also with respect to the noise, time of operations and all that. Do you have some of that information now?
We have sent out notifications, but certainly we can coordinate with the water department and try to get in touch with the residents to make sure that they're aware of when construction will take place and be prepared, better prepared to address that.
And typically the hours of operation would be?
We would require them to work between 8 and 4 is our standard hours for an area.
Monday through Friday or?
Monday through Friday. And once the major construction is done, once the well's put in, then it's pretty minimal activity while they're pumping and testing.
Is that 18 days then of, I'm sorry, are these 18 business days or 18 calendar days?
18 calendar days. Yeah, the entire, we anticipate it'll take a week to drill the well, so the entire time frame is 1 month. 18 days is the testing period. The construction time frame, we work very closely with the harbor to ensure that we miss any of the special events or holiday seasons that they have. So right now it's anticipated to be after the first of the year. We've got to get a schedule from our contractor that's doing the work. The permanent facility is not anticipated to be located at the harbor or anywhere near the harbor. It'll be on the same site that our current desalination plant is located, which is out by the drive-in or the old drive-in movie theater. So that's where we would send the water to be treated and then pumped into our system. So there'll be very little infrastructure noticeable at the harbor if the results of this test, prove positive and we want to move forward with additional wells.
So basically, if this proves to be a high priority, a significant site, then most of whatever infrastructure would be underground would not impact parking.
That is correct. We are modeling after what they're doing up in Dana Point, and when we went up there to visit their site, the actual wellheads, they were playing volleyball over the top of them. So they really, there was construction time frame, but then once they were done, everything was restored back to its original condition and original use, or intended use. So it's very minimal impact, and that's why we're targeting this.
Okay, thank you. Well, obviously parking is a high premium in the harbor, and which translates into coastal access, beach access. So I'm satisfied that this is a short period of time that is being coordinated so that it doesn't impact events that we typically have at the harbor, and will not be a great inconvenience. Certainly water is a very, very high priority for the city in finding alternative water supplies so that we can be as independent of the water authority as possible. So I am going to go ahead and move that we as the Harbor Board adopt the resolution approving development permit, CUP, and regular coastal permit for the construction of a temporary desal pilot facility test well within parking lot 10 at the terminus of Harbor Drive South in the Oceanside Small Craft Harbor Precise Plan area.
Second.
Thank you. One of the things that kind of strikes me is that you have a precise amount of gallons that you're going to pump out. Is that, instead of just saying we're going to run this thing for 18 days and test it, you have 7,740,000 gallons.
Yeah, that's based on the gallons per minute we're targeting over the time frame, 18 days. So that's, give or take a little bit, but that's our target. So it's just a mathematical.
So what are we looking for? One, the salinity at that level, and also what the sustainable gallons per minute would be?
That's correct. We're looking for a consistent quality of water and a consistent quantity of water. Those are our two targets.
And so we have a target that we're looking for, salinity or TDS?
We're anticipating very close to seawater, and that's what we're targeting. Yeah.
Pretty close to the sea there.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just want to know what we were testing for,
yes.
Why we're drilling in pilot well. Thank you.
I see no other lights. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. If I may, Mr. Clerk, direction from the City Attorney. Items 22, 23, and 24. We're going to combine all three of those.
Yes.
Give the applicant 30 minutes to speak on that.
Yes.
And if there's speakers from the public that need more time than 3 minutes, we'll take it on an individual basis to address all three of these issues. They're kind of connected, as we well know. And with that, could you do 22, 23, and 24 for notification out there?
Yes, items number 22, 23, and 24 are as follows. Councilmember call for review, adoption of a resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution number 2014-P21, approving tentative track map T14-00003, conditional use permit CUP 14-00011, development plan D14-00006, and regular coastal permit RC 14-00006 for the conversion of a 6-unit multifamily development into a 6-unit condominium located at 817 and 819 South Pacific Street, applicants Strand and Limited LLC and Leeds Properties LLC. Item number 23 is Councilmember call for review, adoption of a resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution number 2014-P23, approving parcel map P14-00008, development plan D14-00005, and regular coastal permit RC 14-00005 for the conversion of a single-family dwelling to a 2-unit residential structure at 823 South Pacific Street, applicant 823 South Pacific Street, LLC. Item 24 is Councilmember call for review, adoption of a resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution number 2014-P22, approving parcel map B14-00007, development plan D14-0004, and regular coastal permit RC 14-00004 for the conversion of a single-family dwelling to a 2-unit residential structure at 825 South Pacific Street, applicant 825 South Pacific Street, LLC.
What was the second one? As the mayor, well, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, 3 items. I'll let everybody discuss all 3. Certainly the applicant with more time, or maybe speakers more time, but we'll vote on each item separately. So it will be 22, 23, and 24 separate votes on those. And with that, as the mayor, I'll come back to the city council and open this public hearing and request disclosures from the city council members.
I've had staff, I have had the applicant, as well as somebody named Schreiner or something like that. An attorney, it was a letter that we received from him, so that's it.
I've spoken with the applicant, been on site, spoken with neighbors and staff.
Thank you. Generally, staff on this, but similar things going well for the applicant I've talked to before. I've gotten phone calls and contacts from the public on this issue. Certainly got a letter from a law firm regarding this issue, and but basically the staff.
Lots of opposition by neighbors, community, and the attorney representing the community.
Applicant staff and I is in receipt of the attorney's letter also.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, if you would, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but any correspondence and petitions besides that one letter from the attorney?
Other than that, none.
Okay, thank you very much. And, how are you?
If I could just...
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
I don't see that well, I guess I can talk about that later. Sorry, my apologies.
Good evening, by the way, and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Wood and members of the City Council. I'm Marie Luna, project planner in the Development Services Department. Tonight I will be presenting 3 separate projects, but because of their proximity to each other and the similarity of issues raised, I have prepared one presentation that encompasses all 3. Each of these projects, while similar, is different. Each was filed under a separate application, and each is owned by a different owner. At the conclusion of my presentation, I will be asking the City Council to consider each application separately and take action on each. The 3 projects I will be presenting were approved by the Planning Commission on September 22nd, 2014, and were called for review by members of the City Council. Since the project was called for review, staff has received 1 letter in opposition. The letter is dated November 4th, 2014, submitted by Eric Schreiner, attorney. These 3 projects are located on South Pacific Street. One is located at 825. This is an existing single-family home proposed for conversion to a 2-unit condominium. Another is located at 823, also a single-family home and proposed for conversion to a 2-unit condominium. and the third, bearing two addresses at 817 and 819, is a 6-unit multifamily residential building proposed for conversion to a 6-unit condominium. All three projects involve similar improvements. Each adds a third story over a portion of the existing building, thereby rendering each building 35 feet high, which is the maximum permitted by code. Each adds square footage, resulting in larger living areas, including more bedrooms, baths, and off-site parking. Each involves a subdivision map to accommodate the condominium use proposed, and two of the three projects each add one more unit, whereas the third project maintains the existing unit count. All three projects are located in the South Oceanside neighborhood. They front South Pacific Street and are bounded by Wisconsin Street to the north, South Pacific Street to the east, Hayes Street to the south, and the Pacific Ocean to the west. The project sites are located within the residential tourist zoning district and are designated urban high-density residential by the land use element of the general plan. Additionally, they are designated high-density and transient residential by the city's local coastal plan. The residential tourist zoning district provides for single and multiple family residential uses, serving both residents and visitors, and permits vacation rentals by right. Surrounding land uses include single-family and multiple-family residential development. Some of these developments remain one-story, while others are multi-story and built to the 35-foot height limit. The projects before you this evening would also be built to the 35-foot height limit through the addition of a third story. This third story addition, however, would not be visible to pedestrians along South Pacific Street or beachgoers because the third story is set back significantly. These projects were approved by the Planning Commission 4-0, with 3 commissioners absent on September 3rd. However, they were called for review by members of the City Council. The call for review identified issues which were applied to all 3 projects. These issues discussed separately in the report prepared for each project application include concerns over inconsistency with the area's community character and the city's local coastal plan, excessive environmental and roadway impacts, canyonization of Pacific Street, increased density, privatization of public beach, public coastal view impacts, and alteration of the city's coastal plan, as well as non-compliance with the mini storm ordinance. Following is a response to these issues, and for expediency, I have grouped them. The call for review indicates that the projects are not consistent with the character of the surrounding community and seek to establish higher density and intensity of use. The intensity and density of use is governed by the zoning code and the general plan and the local coastal plan. The zoning code designates these properties as residential tourist, and the general plan designates the land use in this area as urban high-density residential. The local coastal program designates this area as mixed high-density and transient residential. According to the number of dwelling units permitted per acre and the types of uses permitted, the projects are consistent with city codes and policy documents, and they do not seek higher densities or intensities. The project at 817 and 819 will remain at 6 units, and the projects at 823 and 825 will each increase from 1 to 2 units. The tourist residential zone permits single-family residential, multiple-family residential, as well as tourist cottages and vacation and summer rentals. These types of uses are found throughout the residential tourist zoning district. Another issue raised in the call for review indicated excessive environmental impacts not sufficiently analyzed. Each project was analyzed for conformance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. Each project was submitted as a separate application by separate owners and was considered in its entirety. It was determined that each project met the provisions for categorical exemption. In the case of 1817 and 1819, the project is limited to 6 units, the maximum number of units permitted under a categorical exemption designation. Each of the projects consists of new construction which is under 10,000 square feet each, and therefore considered a small project consistent with a small structure or addition. The projects support multiple family residential development in accordance with zoning. South Pacific Street is built to accommodate the zoning which it supports, and although the projects will require additional parking, the impact of on-street parking along Pacific Street is minimized by each project in that it provides more parking than required. The zoning surrounding South Pacific Street supports residential tourist uses which are guided by the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance allows structures along this street to be 35 feet high. The projects proposed do not exceed the 35-foot height limit. Moreover, that portion of each project, which is 35 feet high, has been set back and will not be visible to pedestrians or vehicles along South Pacific Street. Each of the three projects, particularly 817 and 819, has been designed to provide a public view corridor through the side yard of the private property. The landscape plan submitted and approved for 1817 and 1819 requires that this view corridor be maintained, and this is indicated as a condition in the resolution. Although the local coastal plan seeks to maintain public views along the city's coastline, it does not designate this private property as a public view corridor. A public view corridor along with public access is provided 200 feet to the south along Hay Street. In addition, among the items for the call to review, it was indicated that the project violates the mini dorm ordinance. Unfortunately, Coastal did not certify the mini dorm ordinance, and the project does conform to zoning, general plan, and the coastal land use plan. The first project before you is 825 South Pacific Street. This project consists of 3 development applications: a parcel map to subdivide the existing single-family home into 2 residential condominium units, a development plan, and regular coastal permit. The project would include a partial demolition and remodel of this existing single-family home, which is just over 4,700 square feet, to just over 6,400 square feet. This would be accomplished through a 3rd-story addition that would render the building 35 feet high. The result would be a 3-story, 2-unit condominium with 12 bedrooms and baths served by 4 parking spaces, provided within a 4-car garage, including 2 tandem spaces. The second project before you is 823 South Pacific Street. Similar to the first project, this too consists of 3 development applications: a parcel map to subdivide this existing family home into 2 residential condominium units, a development plan, and regular coastal permit. This project would include a partial demolition and remodel of this existing single-family home, which is nearly 4,600 square feet to just over 6,100 square feet. This would be accomplished through a 3rd-story addition that would render the building 35 feet high. The result would be a 3-story, 2-unit condominium with 12 bedrooms and baths, served by 4 parking spaces, provided within a 4-car garage, including 2 tandem spaces. The third project before you is 1 building with 2 street addresses, 817 and 819 South Pacific Street. This project consists of a partial demolition, remodel, addition, and condominium conversion of an existing 6-unit apartment into a 6-unit condominium. The application includes a tentative tract map because it involves the subdivision of 5 or more units, a conditional use permit because it involves the conversion of existing apartment units into condominiums, and a development and regular coastal permit. By way of background, a project similar to the one approved recently by the Planning Commission and under your review this evening was approved by the Planning Commission back in March 2013. Only that project did not include a condominium conversion component, and it was processed as two separate applications on two separate lots. That project calls for over 13,000 square feet, slightly more than the one currently proposed, and 18 bedrooms and 20 baths, slightly less than the current project. The previously approved project was appealed to Coastal on grounds similar to those stated in the complaint letter for this project. Coastal Commission approved this project last month. The project before you this evening would include a partial demolition, remodel, in addition to an existing building which presents as three separate buildings, which remains attached at the basement level, thereby rendering it as one structure. The apartments, which include 2 and 3 bedroom units, vary in size from just over 600 to 800 square feet. These would be converted to condominiums and would increase the size of the units to somewhere between 1,200 and 3,200 square feet. This change in square footage and additional bedroom count would add an additional 5 parking spaces for a total of 10 parking spaces, 3 spaces in excess of code requirements. Parking would be configured via 2 4-car garages, which would include tandem parking as well as 1 car lift each. The project, which currently has 14 bedrooms and 12 baths, would result in 20 bedrooms and 22 baths. This would be accomplished via a 3rd-story addition, raising the building height from 23 feet to 35 feet, the maximum height permitted by code. This third project, approved by the Planning Commission in March 2013, but subsequently appealed to the Coastal Commission and approved, will retain a similar architectural style as that previously considered. As stated earlier, the project will read as if it is 2 separate buildings, but because it will remain attached at the basement level, it will remain a single building. As shown, that portion of the building identified as 1817 South Pacific Street will display a combination of flat and hipped roof elements. It will be painted different shades of green and will retain landscaping and a street-level pedestrian view to the Pacific Ocean as had been previously approved. That portion of the building addressed as 819 South Pacific Street will display a slightly different elevation. Once remodeled, this is how the front elevations will appear as viewed from South Pacific Street. This is how the rear elevations will be viewed from the Pacific Ocean. All 3 projects meet zoning and land use requirements and are compatible with surrounding land uses, which include single-family residential as well as multiple-family residential buildings. At this time, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution upholding the Planning Commission resolutions approving all 3 projects. With respect to the project proposed at 817 and 819, staff would like to add a condition indicating that approval of this project would supersede the project previously approved by the Planning Commission on March 11, 2013 by resolutions 2013 P09 and 2013 P010. And that concludes staff's presentation.
At this time, any members of the public may wish to speak on this item come forward, but I think if the applicant, the applicant may come forward for 30 minutes to be able to address the council.
That includes rebuttal, right? That includes rebuttal?
tag team this. I'm David Fishbach. I'm one of the representatives of each one of these partnerships.
And I'm Paul Longcombe, the architect for the projects.
And I just want to clarify and say it again, that this was 817-819 was approved by Coastal approximately 2 weeks ago unanimously. It had full support of staff. And the one thing that they were, as a condition of that approval, they wanted a map and they wanted these two projects together. And one of their conditions is that we put a deed restriction that you can't sell the two lots separately. And that's the major thing that this application does. It basically generates, that there's 6 condominium units and you can't sell 817 and 819 separately. And the two partnerships have agreed to do that. What you see, the footprint and the Vulcan mass from the outside will look identical. The only change to these two projects that was previously unanimously approved by Coastal Commission is we've been able to add 2 additional parking spaces. I wanted to go on the attorney letter, and I will give you the Coastal staff and the Coastal Commission did a great job of debunking each one of the attorney's contentions, which basically, attacked our planning staff. And the planning staff had done an excellent job, and that's what Coastal staff came, their conclusion was, and obviously a unanimous from Coastal Commission is consistent with that as well. I just want to say thank you for the Coastal staff and some of the staff members who worked on the original ones. We've had these projects going through the process since 2008. It looks like a lot all in one night, but it's a culmination of about 6 years. I wanted to address some of the contentions, and because again, it is almost diametrically opposite of what the appeal was saying. For example, blocking public views. Anyone can see at the top of the picture what's currently there, and it's pretty easy to see what's going to go on afterwards. And we've actually opened up a public view across the property, in the middle of a private property. The other one, the contention is of the canyonization of Pacific Street. I want to say that Coastal Commission has done 5 projects that have all been appealed by the same attorney, the same appellant, and they've all been approved by Coastal. And they all are basically very consistent. And one of the major things is you cannot see these projects. And the 3 projects on the right hand of the screen were 3 other projects that were previously approved earlier this spring by the city and by Coastal, and went through Coastal review. And they were approved and built, and you can walk along the street and you cannot see the additions. So when they say canyonization of Pacific Street, it's just inconsistent with reality. The next one that I want to address is privatization of the beach. These projects, and by the way, one of the conditions on these projects is for 5 years anyway, they cannot be sold. They are being used as vacation rentals, and the major Coastal Commission goal is to protect public beach access. And the Coastal, if you read the Coastal reports, they love these projects because it is providing coastal beach access for people. I want to address, just so I address the Commission, because the big elephant in the room is these are used as vacation rentals. It is the zoning is residential tourists. It's what the Coastal Commission wants in this area. But I want to address, and I would like to pass out, one of the big things is so that you see our neighbors, and we're very concerned of our neighbors. And if anybody in the public actually is a neighbor, I'd like you to put your name, your address, and your email address, because on a quarterly basis, we send out an email that, I can probably read it from here, that basically asks, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with vehicle parks at the rental, any noise after 9 p.m. if that's when we start restricting noise, the responsiveness of the property manager, which is us, and the overall quality of our guests. And so far, we've gotten extremely satisfied. We haven't been able yet to have anyone really criticize us, but we're happy if we can find solutions, because these are the major addresses, if I live next door, that I'm going to be concerned with. I would, on the back of this, and also in this packet, I'd like to read a letter from one of our neighbors, because I think it says everything in this short little letter. And this came in June 20th of this year, and it said, "To whom it may concern," and that's regarding another project we had down the block on Pacific Street. When David Fishbach first purchased the house next door to mine, a little inconsistent because I am a member of one of the partnerships, I was apprehensive about the idea of having weekly renters coming and going. I thought the worst: loud parties, parking difficulties, trash and cigarette butts over the fence, etc. But the reality was much different. David was a very attentive property owner. He gave me his personal phone number, and I'll give it to anybody in the audience who would like it, and told me to call if I had any concerns. He was true to his word. If I called about a concern, the situation was resolved. I had been having problems with homeless people camping out on my beachside patio. They often left a mess, and in some instances were confrontive and aggressive. Once the property to the north was taken over by Dr. Fishbach, that stopped. I felt safer in my home. When he was working on the remodel plans for the house, he shared them with me so that I knew what was happening, and he assured me that the remodel was not going to obstruct my view. When we had to make decisions regarding shared space, he let me take the lead to make choices. He remodeled the property, which upgraded the property values for all. His maintenance crews were efficient and friendly. If I saw them doing something that I was not happy with, all I had to do was say something to them. They were efficient and courteous. All in all, Dr. Fishbach was the best neighbor I have had in my 17 years of residence on South Pacific Street. It has her phone number if you'd like to call her. Sincerely.
If there's any questions that you might have about the architecture, I'll be happy to speak to it. But I think David really addressed the issues of the appeal and our reasons as to why we think it's a good project.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I see no questions at this time from the council. We probably want to...
I would want to make one suggestion, because this project, because every project that we've tried to do over the last 7 years has been appealed by this attorney. This will likely be appealed to Coastal. The Coastal could say, no, we don't like it. But the other Coastal, we can build the same building that we have without the 2 additional parking spaces. So I don't think they would have any problem with it. But I never know. I don't want to lose my current. I want to say you can only build one of them, but if Coastal, for some reason, the appellants went forward, I want this one to be able to stand. The current approval from Coastal on 8/17/8/19.
Thank you, sir.
No questions.
And thank you.
You have time left, of course, if you want to address public, please.
Yes, at this moment in time, anyone who wishes to speak on any of these 3 items that are combined at this time, you may come forward to the podiums. You will have, at the mayor's discretion, beyond 3 minutes to speak on the items, and you can begin forming lines at any time if you'd like to speak right now.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Pam Chambers, 1922 Freeman Street. After listening to this presentation, I'm even more convinced this is a wonderful project. It improves the neighborhood, improves our beaches, and we have a wonderful neighbor here. I would say approve it. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this, any of these items may come forward at this time.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I think it sounds like a wonderful project, something that will be good for Oceanside. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Mayor, City Council. I grew up staying in three-story rentals in Newport Beach every summer, and the street never seemed to be canyonized. That was an interesting term. And when I heard the presentation tonight of the improvements that they're going to be making and the extent to which this gentleman has gone to be a good neighbor and to reach out to the folks that live in the area, what more could we want? And the architectural improvements look like they're going to make a huge difference on that street, on that block. So I hope you approve this project. Looks like it'll be excellent for Oceanside. Thank you.
My name's Pedro Espinosa. I'm born and raised here in Oceanside.
Hold the mic up, son. You're so tall. Thank you.
Well, my name's Pedro Espinosa, born and raised here in Oceanside. I'm a small subcontractor, a heating and air conditioning company. So I'll let you know he provides my company with a lot of work for myself, and he's a large part of my business. So he gives back to the community. I live here in the community. My kids go here to school, El Camino. Just saying it helps me out as a small business. That's all.
Hi, my name is Susan Custer, and I've lived in Oceanside a long time. I'm a local realtor here, and I just want to tell you he's added a lot of value to the real estate market in Oceanside and the quality of the projects down by the beach.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item may come forward at this time?
Good evening again, Mayor, Council. Carolyn Kramer, Citizens for Preservation of Parks and Beaches. The brief that was entered into the record by Attorney Eric Schreiner, we fully agree with, and we will stand on those items that he has brought. Also, the call for review is right on. All the items that were listed on the call for review have a direct impact on what happens on Pacific Street. The parking is a total smokescreen for all of these, for these 3 projects, 4 projects, whatever. It's a total smokescreen. Vacation rentals, great. I don't have a problem with vacation rentals. It allows people to access the beach and enjoy the beach. But it's all Pacific Street, and the ocean is also for tourists and recreational uses for people that can't afford to pay $4,000 and $5,000 a week for a vacation rental. So please take that into consideration. And yes, those that can afford it also need to have access to the beach. Pacific Street right now from Wisconsin all the way to South Oceanside in the middle of the summer is totally impacted. No place to park anywhere. So if you approve projects like this, then you better think about putting in some more parking so that people have a place to park and the public can go to the beach. Thank you.
Good evening. Sherry Mackin, 1469 Moreno Street, here in the city of Oceanside. Is there any way we can put the overhead on? Oh, it's on. Great. I just want to point out a few things. First of all, I'd like to put on record that I completely concur with everything Ms. Kramer said and put into the record. And please know, we will be at Coastal with this issue. I did want to show Mr. Feline. There you go. Okay, your campaign consultant is in the audience, Mary Acevedo, and I just wanted to show the viewing public a couple of donations from these LLCs on Coast. Is there $5,000 from 823, the other's 1900, South Pacific. This is a big business. Some people are making some money off that. I know Ms. Acevedo has started a neighborhood group, which is no one I know in Southo belongs to it. And testimony, there is her name down there is the treasurer. She takes care of all that money and makes sure that candidates get it who support these projects. I have several of these at home. I'll be bringing them with me to the next council meeting. So I would strongly suggest that you deny this project, think about the public, think about the parking, and do the right thing for the people that want to get to the beach that can't afford to stay in a luxury condominium. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to speak on this item, they come forward. If you've already spoke.
You've already spoken.
You already spoke. I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Diana Davis, 1150 Midnight Way, Oceanside. I've grown up here my entire life, and I now have a little 7-year-old. I never have a problem going to the beach and finding parking. We go to the beach very often throughout the entire year, especially the summertime, and I do not have a problem finding parking on Pacific Street nor the side streets. And I absolutely do hope that this project gets approved, because Oceanside is just becoming a better place with people like Mr. Fishbach adding to our community, and it only will help the future generation. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to speak on this item, they come forward this time.
Mr. Clerk, I see none. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and close this public hearing and come back to the council. Thank you. And the first speaker would be Councilmember Feller, please.
That's great. Good. I have a question about I think it's called Edgewater or 901 Pacific, and it has this attorney, is it Trainer? Eric Trainer. Has him representing them, and that's higher than any building that is on Pacific Street, probably well over 40 feet. And I think that it's kind of like he's got his, what does he hope to bring up? And the issue about the campaign contributions, for instance, you know, if somebody will be glad to show up here with police and fire campaign contributions in this last election, just to offset the few thousand that are purported to be there. I know somebody would be glad to show the police and fire 460s and all of the contributions. I didn't speak during yours. It's good to see both members of CPB are here tonight, so we've missed you. Our citizens would probably, the citizens you heard from would probably prefer to have beach cottages there, you know, like it was 60 or 70 years ago. But that's not the reality of this city, and it's not, certainly not the reality of the economy. Privatization of the beach is ridiculous there. We've got a rock wall separating the beach from everything all the way to south to Buccaneer, and in some places even below that. I was glad to see that you pointed out the view corridor, and the people are going to the beach. That's why there's crowds at the beach. It's not because of vacation rentals. That's what they do. They go to the beach. And I would like Dr. Fishbach to come back up and answer a couple of questions. So do you have several locations, 6, 7, something like that, 8 maybe? And so you employ how many people?
Approximately 32.
32, and we heard from a subcontractor, which is probably, you have more than one of those. And can you tell me what you as a business contribute to our local economy?
Well, that's really a three-point question for us. Our Visit Oceanside, that I'm a board member, which is the Welcome Center, did an economic study, and we're generating about $32 million worth of economic impact with our little company. And this year, through the first 3 quarters, we're on track basically to generate about $480,000 with the vacation rental directly to the city and hotel tax, which the city gets to keep all of it. And we pay the property taxes for the majority of our different partnerships and our different homeowners, other people who own, and we're on track to pay about $480,000 in additional property tax as well. So it's close to $1 million a year in direct economic tax base to the city that helps pay the police and fire salaries.
I get it. Well, I appreciate that information. I was glad to hear Councilmember Sanchez earlier talking about the Ralph's closing and how we want to retain the businesses and the employees, because that's what we should be doing, and that's what we should be doing right here and now, is retaining and helping you to grow to some extent. I mean, we're not the ones investing, we're just the recipient of your good work. So I'm going to start this off with a move for approval. How are we going to do this? With one at a time, or can we move all three?
We need to have a separate vote on each of the separately noticed projects. So I would recommend, if you're going to start, then start with item 22.
Item 22 is 817, 819, so I move adoption of resolutions to approve that project.
Can I ask a clarifying question? So with regard to 817, 819, the staff, Ms. Luna had read into the record an additional condition that is not exactly, I think, what the applicant had some slightly different language, and I think the intent of both parties is, if this resolution is approved tonight, that it would supersede the prior resolution approved by Coastal Commission and the Planning Commission, but only if there's no appeal filed on this project, or if there is an appeal, that the appeal is affirmed by Coastal. Is that
correct?
Does that make sense to staff? I think that's what you're trying to achieve. Okay.
Yes.
I see the applicant nodding yes. Okay.
We have a second on that? Yes. I realize that we're going to vote on this or go through all of them.
Go through.
I know I was one for each unit, that's what I'm saying. Councilmember Kern, please.
Thank you. Something that came up, Councilmember Schultz, the riprap, which actually does separate the units from the beach, so we're not impacting the beach at all. People can still get there. How do they get through the riprap? Is there stairs? Is there some type of access? They have to kind of find their own way through the riprap?
Actually, in front of the building, of all these buildings, there is a public path and walkway that the public is freely access to, which is a little different than a lot of places, a lot of blocks along the South Pacific. And actually, the guests or the public would walk in either direction and either go down to the Hayes Street, there's a public stairway made out of concrete there, or head down toward Wisconsin, and there's a rampway there. If we have handicapped people, they obviously go down the ramp. And that's on either end, Wisconsin and Hayes.
Okay, thank you. And then, didn't we just build a parking lot between Tyson and Wisconsin? So, I mean, as far as public parking, there's plenty of public parking there. Now, yeah, it's not right on the beach, but it's 2 blocks away. I mean, so the idea of walking from that parking lot to the beach is probably 3 minutes. I mean, it's not that you know, it's not right there, but I think it's convenient, so, to do that. So that's why I'm supporting this. I think, you know, they've met everything here, and I think the answers that the staff gave to the appeal questions, I think addresses all those issues. So I'm going to support this recommendation by staff.
Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What's before us, taking all three together, is our three, basically, lots, smaller lots on Pacific Street, right next to each other, totaling 44 bedrooms. 44 bedrooms with a total of 16 parking spaces, most of them tandem, some of them with lifts, which are never used. It is, I have to say, this is, in the 14 years that I've been a council member, this is the worst project that I've ever seen on Pacific Street. And the only reason that we are seeing these projects is because staff stopped applying the 1992 laws that the council from 1992 passed after getting a lot of complaints from the community, and were enforced by the council for, 25 years. And then, just a couple of years ago, this council decided, oh no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to go back to the 1986. And that means higher and huger, much worse impacts to the communities that we have built. I just cannot believe that, and they've been called, I don't know, I don't think lovingly, mini Marriotts. Certainly, if we were going to do this as a plan, we would be requiring a lot more issues to be addressed in terms of the impacts to public access. I don't for a second believe, and I've sat on the Council Commission, perhaps one project would be okay, but these three totaling 44 bedrooms, I have seen the flyers put out of, I think it was maybe 15 bedrooms, suggesting that they could sleep 100 people in one of these units. It is totally amazing to me that we're allowing this and have allowed it for the last 2-3 years. It is amazing to me. And I know, again, it's because of this council misinterpreting and misapplying the laws that we had before that we lived with for, 5 years. When you build next to residents, your property rights don't become superior to everybody else's. They are the same. And the impacts, I just can't, the city of Encinitas, is it Encinitas or Solana Beach? Encinitas got such a huge response from the community that they stopped this. And this is a continuing discussion with the Coastal Commission, where this is not something that was ever dreamed of that would happen. Never. I can tell you that this was not ever part of our local coastal plan. So I don't believe staff has responded to all of my concerns about this. I don't think they even have begun to explain away how this is really impacting our public access. Having 100 people within one, can you imagine 300 or 400 going on, on one small, and we don't even have sidewalks. okay, on Pacific Street. Not even real sidewalks. The buildings, I think some of them even stick into the street, what we call a street. On our first major street from the ocean. This is the one where people get to drive. When you do not have the ability to walk, this is the street that you use. How can you drive through this? How can you walk through this when you have those huge impacts? At the very least, we should be talking about sidewalks. At the very least, we should be talking about having some kind of traffic management program. At the very, very least, we should be having someone dealing with these lifts like we usually do in commercial projects, because this is really a commercial project. It's not residential at all. So, you know, I incorporated all the concerns that were raised by the community through the attorney. Nothing of that was addressed at all in these staff reports. This certainly came back very quickly after we appealed this, the mayor and I believe it's because the writing is on the wall in terms of a new council going back to what the community wants in terms of what should be on Pacific Street. That is, at the same time, yes, vacation rentals, but a balance, because we have residents who live there who absolutely are opposed to this in a major way. So this is not fair at all to this community. Yes, you have a right to build, but this is not, you do not have a right to take over an entire street that belongs to the public. Belongs to the public. This does not provide public access whatsoever. I am going to be voting against each one of these, but those are my comments for each one. Again, 44 bedrooms. The Coastal Commission did not rule on this. 44 bedrooms with only 16 parking spaces that are tandem or lifts. What happens to the public being able to park? Because it's not just that street, but other streets. And this is a problem that happens over and over. At the Coastal Commission, these were problems that we had in Venice, in other places where you have, you as a resident can't park, you as a visitor can't park. What do? You know, this is the kind of construction and building that should never be permitted. So I'm again voting against this. Thank you.
I see no other lights, but I'll say a few words if I may. I think the gentleman, the applicant on this, has done a lot for the city of Oceanside, bought a lot of property, basically owns most of South Pacific Street. Well, it wasn't originally planned for rentals per se. The reason I joined in on appealing this to you, and the doctor knows this too, I have to go back to what I get feedback from the general public as a whole over a period of time. He's had quite a few rental properties down there, and I got tired of getting complaints from the people that live down there, honestly. Maybe it's improved and changed, but I still get calls. What it is, and we have a place that was a residential house, and you turned it into a rental property, and you have weddings and parties there for whenever on weekends or holidays or whatever it might be. And these new ones where you have multiple families, you saw there's 12 bedrooms, there's 20 bedrooms, you know. People are meant to go there and fill up those things just like a hotel room. And you get a lot of people coming and going for, number one, the noise, the parking, everything. Please, for a minute, think what you'd like to have if you live next door to this. There will be noises, there will be a lot of activity, and there's no way whatsoever they can handle the parking, which you all know what South Pacific's like in that 100 block. There is no sidewalk per se on the west side of that street. If you walk down it, you have to kind of walk around the cars that are in the driveways, etc. It's a tough street. It's a very busy, yes ma'am, thank you. It's a very busy street, and I'm sorry for that, but my point to everybody here is the reason I joined in for this for review is I'm concerned about the people that live there. This is going to be a very big impact on noise, traffic, and etc. And I'm really not sure that that's what this neighborhood wants per se. Is it money that brings into the city? Yes, it is in the best interest of the city or that neighborhood. I'm not sure this is how we air it out here. I was also surprised that it came back so quickly and not when another council came on. But anyhow, I understand that too. What I'm saying here is it need to be aired in front of all you, the people at home at West Center, because I think it is an issue. I don't care what anybody in the audience says. If you live next to something like this, I've already heard all the complaints from the neighbors prior to this. They do complain. If you were in one of these houses or across the street next to it, they had a wedding and 50 or 60 people were brought in by other different peoples and forms of transportation, you'll have an impact on the noise in the community and that neighborhood. That was my concern, just like the deputy mayors. They're here airing it out. We got 3 items to vote on. We'll see where it goes, but I don't want to keep you here any longer, so I'll stop at that. There's a motion on the floor for the first item. I think we need to vote on that, go to the second and the third, if that's okay with you, the city clerk. There is a motion on the first one, so I would say please vote now on that one, please.
Motion approved 4-1, Sanchez, no.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. I apologize. Can I do it?
Can we read?
Thank you.
Please revote.
I appreciate it. I thought I had, it's old age, so I'm sorry. Pardon?
Are we revoting on?
Revoting, please. Thank you very much.
Mayor Wood, do you mind? Could you please vote, Mayor Wood? I'm sorry.
I know. I want to think a second on this. That's what I thought we did. I thought I did. Thank you. I hit the wrong button. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Hey, give me a break. I'm getting old.
All right.
Anyhow, thank you very much.
Motion approved 3-2, Wood and Sanchez, no.
If somebody will make a motion on the second item.
I'll take the motion. Item number 23.
Thank you.
So make a motion that the adoption of the resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution number 2014-P23 for the condominium conversion at 823 South Pacific.
I second.
Okay.
No discussion, I'm assuming. Anyhow, thank you. Mr. Kern, got your name on here for light?
No, I just wanted to make the motion.
Okay, and Sanchez, you had your light on?
Yes, I want to incorporate the same objections that I made for the first motion, as well as the objections that were included in the letter that I incorporated within my appeal, the letters that I incorporated within my appeal, which are the 10-page letters.
Thank you. Okay, please vote again. This is the second item, Mr. Attorney.
Motion approved 3-2, Wood and Sanchez, no.
There's a third motion, that's the item, I'm assuming.
I'll make that one. I make a motion that, to adopt the resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution 2014-P22 for the condominium conversion at 825 South Pacific Street.
Deputy Mayor?
And I'm waiting for the second, right?
I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay, my objections, I want to incorporate the same objections that I had in the previous motion, in the previous item, that includes incorporation of the objections from, the itemized objections from the letter from Eric Schreiner dated September 22nd, 2014.
Make a quick comment before you go.
Please.
I just wanted to clarify for the record, even though I think the subject line of the staff report references a condo conversion, this project that you're voting on now is not a condo conversion. It's a single-family home being approved as 2 separate units, not a condo conversion. So that was mislabeled on the subject line of the staff report. So that's why there's no conditional use permit for this particular application. No, I just wanted to clarify for that for the record. So you'll have the other entitlements in front of you that the motion would affirm the decision of the Planning Commission on 825.
Last one. Please vote.
Motion approved 3-2, Wood and Sanchez, no.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time and hospitality, and enjoy the evening. Get going. We still have some items to speak on here. Mr. Clerk, when you get a moment to do item 20, public communications, please.
Yes, public communication on off-agenda items. We have 3 speakers. First, we have Victor Roy. Second, we have Kathy Hamilton. And third, Sandra Waker.
Sandra, wait.
You want that? He's coming up upstream. Hold on 1 second, please, and I will get a couple of minutes to leave people out the door. Deputy Mayor, can we get going?
We ready? Okay.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on. Victor, hold on. He doesn't get to say go on.
Sorry.
Deputy Mayor, can we get you back up here, please? I'm sorry. We all want to go. Please.
I need you up there, Deputy Mayor. I do.
Thank you all, please.
Ready? Victor Roy, Rancho San Luis Rey. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Councilman. I'm a member of Action, the Alliance of Citizens to Improve Oceanside Neighborhoods. I'm also a board member and associate manager for GSMOL, Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League. And happy autumn full moon to one and all. This moon represents the autumnal cleaning of our Oceanside yards and streets, parks and beaches, and now our city council. Because in yesterday's election, the great people of Oceanside elected Chuck Lowry to our city council. This is a big shout out to all voters who voted and to all our volunteers who worked tirelessly over the last 2 to 3 months for the Chuck Lowry and Dina Corso campaigns. Thank you, everyone. As we sweep away Gary Pauline from our city council, we will welcome Chuck Lowry aboard on December 3rd in 4 weeks. Let us look forward to all the exciting changes ahead. Thank you.
Was it 3 minutes or 2 minutes this week, Mayorwood?
3 minutes, ma'am.
3 minutes, thank you. My name is Catherine Hamilton, and I live in Oceanside, have since 1989. Was transferred down here from LA County, where I guess we are a little more progressive when it comes to building codes and what we want our city to look like. But tonight, I come here to thank Gary Pauline for doing one heck of a job in our city, for having, the guts to sit here every city council and listen to people just bring in personal invectives. It just was hard for me to listen to, let alone someone who's worked as hard as he has in our city. I tell you, the young lady in the back that brought up the money that some people donated to Mr. Flynn's campaign, a lot of people donate that amount of money to campaigns, and they don't expect a single thing for it. They look to the candidate and say, this person is going to do a good job for this city, and they donate funds. So I hope people out in the audience at home will listen to what was said tonight by 2 of the voters here on the city council, and the arguments, the lame arguments that were presented tonight about this building project. We have somebody that was reaching out into the neighborhood, was willing to handle any kind of problem that came up, has had experience here in Oceanside, and we are listening to people who are angry because there are people in this world who can rent a nice unit on a nice street. It is pathetic. We have had an incredible lecturate last night telling our country we are sick of the division. And I hope that this new city council will quit trying to divide this city. I came here, I have never heard, even as a manager at the business that I worked at, for the first year and a half, I had people from Oceanside, not Carlsbad where the business was, but Oceanside lining up and yelling because somebody took over their business, took over the old business. And it was because the government asked us to. Anyway, good luck to the new city council. Jerry, you were terrific, and thank you so very much for enduring all this.
Okay, my name is Sherry Mackin, 1469 Marino Street here in Oceanside. The reason I'm speaking, I didn't plan on speaking on items not on the agenda, but I think it's important. I live in South Oceanside, the real South Oceanside. There is no South Oceanside neighborhood organization. There is a political action group run by a political consultant for Mr. Bean. He's worked with Mr. Feller, she's worked with Mr. Feller, and Mr. Kern, you benefit from her fundraising. So, I have an example up here. You know those ugly mailers that just are embarrassing to our city that went out under SONA? Those were put out by Ms. Azevedo, political consultant who lives in Fire Mountain, in support of Gary Feline and Jerry Kern, and in opposition of Ms. Corso, as well as Chuck Lowry. You know, you folks on the council, step it up. Dirty campaigns are horrible. I'm tired of them. You're not going to be sitting here long if you continue this type of behavior. People are tired of it. Step it up. Mr. Feline, good riddance.
Hello again. My name is Sandra Waker. I live at 2275 Ocean View Road. I've lived in Oceanside, raised 5 children here. My husband's retired Navy. I noticed that piece of paper she had up there. It had like $500 and $2,000. Well, this one has $74,000. And that was given by the Oceanside Firefighters Association to Mr. Lowry. And I'm sure it was given because they think he's going to do such a great job on this council. And if $1,000 can buy someone, what do you think $74,000 is going to do? But mostly I'm here because I'm president of the Oceanside Republican Women Federated, and I would like to thank Gary Feline on behalf of the Oceanside Republican Women. And we thank you for your service, we thank you for your dedication, your integrity, and for everything you have done for Oceanside. And just sitting here tonight, just that little bit of time, I know where Oceanside is going now. This business owner comes here and presents himself, and what do? You tear up some ridiculous bureaucrat. I mean, who are you? You're not, I mean, this is unbelievable. He is a private citizen. So he's a little man running and that's objectionable to you? He's a doctor, that's objectionable to you? I mean, that's unbelievable. And honestly, I know that the council meetings will be run in a different way now because you won't have so many people to be kicked around by the people that come up here. But you have no right to let people talk to other people the way they do at this council. This is a city council meeting. It's not a Jerry Springer show. And people shouldn't be so mean. And that's all I have. Thank you. And again,
freedom of speech, ma'am. That's the problem. We have to let people speak.
Speech is one thing, but teaching people
Ma'am,
their privacy.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
We have one more.
Yes, that was a really great speech, but you know what? $74,000 wasn't given to the people that are voting on this project that are sitting at the dais tonight. So the public should really take that into consideration because you know what, guys? That was a cheap sellout.
No more public on off agenda items.
That's all. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time, hospitality, and kindness. I understand it's been tough. The election year, the silly season. All I can say is I'm going to adjourn you to Wednesday, November the 12th, 2014 at 2 p.m. at this location for a workshop. Good night. Be safe.